Hey guys, what's up? It's Ripe again. In today's video, my entitled neighbor called the police on firefighters putting out a fire at my house. She wants them arrested because they parked in front of her house and blocked her driveway. Here is what happened. Let's dive right into the story. I moved about a year ago, and while I love my new house, the one thing I hate is the woman that lives next door. If she was part of the house tour, I don't think anybody would have ever purchased this house. I saw a clip once of The Simpsons where they are trying to sell the house next to them and the people take one look at Homer and run away. This is what I wish happened, because then I would not be stuck here living next to a Karen that seems to put all the others to shame. When I first moved in, I tried to be friendly to all of the neighbors, but Karen just wanted to get off on the wrong foot right away. Now, she told me that the people that used to live where I did let her borrow things like water and electricity all the time, and it should not be a problem for me to do the same. I found this very odd for a first meeting and politely told her that I was not comfortable doing that since I was trying to keep both of those bills low. And well, just to quickly interject here, Ripe Stars, obviously Karen is also trying to keep these bills low, so shame on OP for not supporting this entitled woman. Anyway, from there it just got worse and she tried to take every opportunity to find something to complain about. One smaller example was that I had a small party at my house one day that was made up of me and a few friends. It was not a loud crazy party. We were inside playing board games and having dinner. I know, I'm very exciting. Anyway, she came banging on the door screaming that she did not okay any party and that I should know better to do something like that without getting written permission from my neighbors. Just so you know, that's not a thing and she just wanted to cause problems. Other than that, she is a pretty typical Karen who acts entitled and like she is better than everybody else despite not having things that are much nicer than others. Still though, she finds ways to put people down and she is generally hated or ignored by everyone else on the block. From what I heard, she was divorced and did not get the kids, which honestly doesn't shock me after the amount of Karen stories here that I have read from other people. The one thing I was warned about was that she hated people parking in front of her house, and if I did it, I would most likely end up getting towed. I knew that she did not own the street, but I did not want to deal with any of that, so I just never parked there. One day I had a small kitchen fire because I had a stove gas leak that I didn't know about, and when I finally got it to ignite, it made a small boom. It was not too bad, but it got on the curtains, and after one panicked phone call, the fire department was there to put it out while I kept apologizing for magically not knowing that I had a gas leak. They told me that it happened all the time, but I to this day don't know if they were just trying to make a frazzled me feel better. Out of nowhere though, Karen comes running out of her house and starts yelling at the firefighter for parking in front of her house. An important little note is that I had some work being done and the area in front of my house was kind of destroyed until it was gonna be completed. The town had to check a pipe, so they tore up that section and basically it was not usable. Because of that, the firefighters ended up parking in front of the neighbors, aka Karen's house, instead of mine. Karen, you get this big thing off of my property right this second, or I'm gonna make sure that you all rot in jail. Firefighter, miss, calm down. This is an active fire scene. You need to return to your house now. Karen, I'm gonna call the police on you because you are parked on my property without permission. Firefighter, the street is public property and you need to back off and let us work. Well, she actually ended up calling the police, claiming that somebody was illegally parked on her lawn. However, they actually weren't, and she did not even mention who it was that was parked there, so the police were mighty confused when they showed up. Karen pointed out the firefighters and started yelling again about how this was her property and she wanted them arrested for illegally parking. I heard everything because I was standing near the trucks to be a safe distance away from everything going on. At that point, they put out the fire but were checking other things to make sure it was all good. One firefighter was hanging by the truck though, waiting for the rest of the crew. Officer, ma'am, you said that a car was illegally parked on your lawn. Karen, well, it is next to my lawn, but it's still my property they are parked on. Arrest them now. Officer, the street is for public use. Anybody is allowed to park there. Aside from that, emergency vehicles are allowed to park anywhere, even on your lawn if it is really needed. They are putting out a fire and I suggest that you go back into your home and just wait for them to leave. Karen, you are not going to arrest them? Officer, no, they have not done anything illegal. I guess Karen does not like being told no because she did not turn around and go into her home. Instead, she went right past the cop and jumped on the firefighter. She started cursing and hitting him for all of 10 seconds before the officer pulled her off and started putting her in handcuffs. She was still yelling that it was her property and she was just defending it because that person could have been trying to rob her. I think she was just saying any kind of excuse she could come up with, but I could not believe what I had just witnessed. So yeah, you read that right. My crazy neighbor Karen really decided to attack a firefighter when a police officer was standing right there to see the entire thing. Where I live, police have body cams, so what she did was caught on tape for any judge to see. Now, normally, assault for a first offense might be a huge fine or community service, but the thing is that a firefighter is considered a public servant job and that makes the assault automatically a felony. From what I heard around the neighborhood, the stunt she pulled got her sent to jail for around 2 years. I cannot say for sure if that is true, but I can say that a month later I saw people come to take her things away and then the house went up for sale. I wanted to get rid of my horrible neighbor Karen, but I did not think that that is how it was gonna end. For anybody also wondering, I got the small gas leak fixed and the fire did not do too much damage. I have to repaint the walls in the kitchen and get new curtains, but I came away pretty lucky. I don't know how Karen is gonna behave in prison, but I can imagine her learning fast that yelling at inmates or the prison guards will not end up well for her. And yeah, Ripe Stars, I just noticed there's one thing missing that we have never read about before on Reddit. We never had any Karen prison stories. Imagine Karen yelling at prison guards and threatening to get them fired. That would be absolutely amazing. But anyway, let's continue to the next one. The next one is titled, How I Got Malicious Compliance on a Coworker. So this story harkens back to the olden days when Blockbuster and Hollywood Video were the things to do on a family-friendly Friday and cell phones were still somewhat most people did not really consider necessary, which is aka the 90s. I took a job at a video store near my house. It was a small family-owned store with 3 different branches in town. The job was wonderful. I loved movies and games, it was close to my residence and school. I even got free video rentals and a discount from the sub shop next door. The video store was located in a beautiful old building from the 1920s. It had marble stairs and a really amazing cage elevator that led up to the storage and employee lounge. The job was perfect for me. The hours were flexible, the pay was decent, but the one drawback to this was my supervisor. Let's call her Amanda, because that was her name. Seriously, screw Amanda. Amanda was on the older side and seemed to not be content with how her life had turned out. As a result, she took all of her frustrations out on anyone she could. Especially those people who she worked with who happened to be younger. If you were a college student like myself, you earned a special extra helping of disdain from her. I mean really, how dare you decide to actually have aspirations of making more than $7.50 an hour? While I am generally fairly tolerant of people like Amanda, she really went the extra mile to annoy me as much as humanly possible. She was bitter, mean, petty and did anything and everything she could to just be plain unpleasant. She was not even nice to customers. The only upside to this attitude was that she did not let Karen customers get away with their Karenness. I might have been able to make more if she happened to be particularly knowledgeable or good at her job. However, she was neither and only appeared to have the job because of good old nepotism. She was the daughter-in-law of the owner and she knew nothing about movies or games or gaming systems or anything we rented or sold. When a customer had a question, she would pawn them off on another employee. When she had a problem with the computers, who did she call to fix it? That's right, me. When there was a delivery that needed to be checked into the system, who did she call? Me. When stock needed to be dragged up to the stock room? Well, you get the idea, that would be me again. Any unpleasant task that came up, she would always try to give it to me. Generally speaking, she hid in the back watching TV or talking on the phone, which did tie up the store's landline for literally hours, or doing anything and everything she could to avoid doing her actual job. When I brought up Amanda to Ken, the owner, he simply sighed and gave a pained look and asked me to just try to bear with it and stay out of her way if I could. I got the distinct impression that Ken did not much care for her either, but she was his daughter-in-law. He did his best to try to make sure I was not scheduled to work with her, but at least once a week I had to work with this paragon of kindness and light. One day I was on the phone with a customer discussing the late fees on their account when Amanda wanted to make a call. This resulted in Amanda ripping me a new one in front of an entire store of people. It was a Saturday and we were packed to the rafters. She was yelling so loudly that the woman on the phone asked me if we were being robbed and whether she should call the police. Before I could answer, Amanda yanked the phone out of my hand and slammed it into the cradle. "You are never ever to be on that phone again, you understand me?" While I was desperately aching to headbutt her, I bit my tongue, took a deep breath and counted to 10. When that did not work, I counted to 20 and then 50, and instead of telling her I hoped that she would be ravaged by rabid wolverines, I simply smiled and said, "Alright." This seemed to annoy her even more though than if I had gotten angry. She stormed back to the office and I took a stream of customers, all of whom asked me if I was okay, and one offered suggestions on how to dispose of a body. I appreciated the suggestions, but I had plenty of my own ideas, and while evisceration with a pair of rusty safety scissors might be a fulfilling immediate solution, it probably was not good for my lifetime goals. Unless, of course, those goals involved a jail cell and becoming overly acquainted with a thick woman with one eyebrow named Big Betty. Instead, I checked it off in my big book of voodoo curses and hoped I would have a chance to pay Amanda back for her thoughtful gesture of embarrassing me in front of half of the metropolitan area. Still, there were a few more pieces to be laid out for my malicious compliance, and Amanda would not disappoint me. The next piece came perhaps a month later. I had been at work for about 7 hours of my 9-hour shift and had only seen Amanda once, and that had been when she left the store. Considering that I had only 2 hours left of my shift and had not yet taken a break, I really needed to go to the bathroom. I told my coworker that I was heading to the restroom. This was, however, apparently not in keeping with Amanda's view for the universe. She actually began to bang and kick the bathroom door, demanding I come out. I took my time, washed my hands, adjusted my hair, and calmly walked out of the bathroom. While she began to scream, I ignored her and walked up to the front of the store and took the cart of movies to be reshelved. She grabbed the front of the cart and swiped the movies off of the top. She then informed me of my questionable parentage, told me that I liked to passionately hug mothers and that I was a female dog. Really, I had no idea about any of these things about myself. I thought all that time that I was just your regular everyday college student. I could have probably gotten on television if I had known how unique I was sooner. Amanda told me that under no uncertain terms was I to ever leave the floor while I was on the clock. Again, I summoned an inner calm that would have made Gandhi proud. I forced a smile and nodded, alright. While I seemed calm on the outside, I had made up my mind that I would have my chance. No matter how small, I would have my moment. That shining moment came on a lazy and blissfully quiet morning. As it was a morning, it would just be me and Amanda. Hopefully she would stay in the office and I would not have to deal with her at all. When I came in, there were workmen in the back working on the elevator. One of the guys came up and told me that he needed a part and he would be back tomorrow to finish up the work. Annoying, as I would now have to schlep armfuls of heavy tapes up the stairs, but it was not the end of the world. The light of my life arrived a few hours later without a word to anyone. I stood at the front putting "Be Kind, Rewind" stickers on a batch of new arrivals when I noticed Amanda through the back door getting into the elevator. After the man told me that he needed a part, it did not even occur to me that the elevator had the power on, and I had a moment of amusement at thinking that Amanda was going to have to take the hated stairs. She was, above all, lazy. However, it seemed the elevator did indeed have power, and it worked. At least it worked just enough to go half a floor and then stop. It was just close enough to the upper floor that climbing out onto that floor was impossible, and just far enough from the lower floor that climbing out was impossible. I could not believe my eyes. Malicious compliance activated. I could not entirely see Amanda as she tried to open the door and get out, but I could hear her. The sounds of frustration increased until I heard the most beautiful sound I ever heard. Amanda, OP. A slow smile reminiscent of the Grinch curved my lips. I walked to the very edge of the sales floor and called out. Yes? Amanda, the elevator is stuck. Can you open the door from your side? Me, I don't know. I cannot see it from here. Amanda huffed in annoyance. Amanda, well, get over here and try to open it. Me, I cannot do that, Amanda. Amanda, why the enter colorful verbiage here, not. Me, I'm not allowed to leave the floor while I'm on the clock under any circumstances. Amanda, are you kidding me? Me, you said it yourself. Since I value my job, I cannot possibly go against orders. A stream of curses came from the locked and stuck elevator. I'm pretty sure I'm still not old enough for all of the things I heard that day. Amanda, call maintenance. The number should be in the office. Trying to sound as innocent and sympathetic as I could possibly manage, while also trying not to burst out laughing. I cannot do that either. I would have to leave the floor to go to the office. Amanda, you think you're real? So many naughty words. Funny, don't you? Me, I don't know what you mean. Amanda, call Ken then. I know you know his number. Me, well, I would, but I'm not allowed to use the phone, remember? Amazingly, there were no curses. There were no screams, there was not even one word telling me that my parents were never married. It was just silent. I think for the first time she realized that she might actually be in a little trouble. She was stuck in a position entirely of her own making with no way out of it for the foreseeable future. Amanda, OP, please. Just get me out of here. Me, I'm sorry Amanda, I'm just following orders. All pretense of niceness was dropped as she proceeded to inform me of all of my imagined faults and those of my parents' friends and any other relations I might have or think to have in the future. Then she sealed her fate. She yelled at me that I was fired. In truth, I really only planned on letting her stew for a few minutes, but after that, no. Me? I'm fired? Okay then, I guess I will head home. Oh, and by the way, I should also let you know that Bill called and said he would be in at 7 instead of 5. He has to pick up his brother from the airport. So, I guess you will be in there for a while. I hope you've got a book or something. Amanda, what? You damn... How the F do you think you can do this to me? When I get out of here, I'm gonna come and get you in your sleep. Me? Wow, okay, sure, yeah. Have fun with that, have a good one. I will leave my name tag and shirt on the front desk. Amanda, wait. Me, bye. Wait, don't worry, I will lock up on my way out and I will put up a sign so people will know we are closed. Amanda, OP, wait, I did not mean that. Come back. I walked up front, wrote out a sign that we were closed until 7 PM due to unforeseen circumstances. The very last thing I heard from Amanda before I opened the door was, but I have to pee. Still snickering to myself, I locked the door and drove the 45 minutes out to Ken's house to let him know the shop was closed. Could I have gone the 5 minutes to my house and called? Sure, I could, but did I? Nope. Ken seemed a bit surprised to see me there. Ken, I thought you were working today. Me, oh yeah, I was, but Amanda fired me. Ken, she is not allowed to do that. All hiring and firing goes through me, she knows that. Don't worry, I will call her. I think maybe it's time to talk to my son about her. I cannot keep her on with her acting like this. Me, I don't think she will be able to answer the phone. Ken gave me a long sharp look as I tried very hard not to smile. Then I gave up entirely and just smiled broadly back at him. Ken, OP? Me? Yes? What did you do? Me? I did not do a thing. I only followed her orders. Ken leaned down to meet me eye to eye. Ken, what happened? I gave him the full tale from her, telling me that I couldn't use the phone under any circumstances, to her, telling me that I wasn't allowed to leave the sales floor when I was on the clock. Then I told him about her being stuck in the elevator. Ken, you did not tell her the elevator was broken? Me, I did not even realize it had power. Ken just stood there looking at me gobsmacked and then started laughing. I should really go let her out. He paused for a minute and looked down at his dirty hands and clothes and then up at me. But I really should not leave those flowers half planted and then I should probably take a shower. I don't want to make that drive covered in dirt. Me? Of course not. You've got a really nice car and it would be a lot of work to get that much dirt out of your seats and carpet. Do you need some help with the planting by any chance? Ken nodded solemnly back at me and gave another chuckle. It took probably another hour to finish planting the flowers and Ken told me that I would be paid for the day and sent me home with assurances that I did indeed still have a job and that he would deal with Amanda. I fully enjoyed the rest of my half-day off. I did hear from Bill that when he got there, the elevator repair guy had just arrived and that Amanda ended up spending about 5 hours stuck in the elevator. After that day, I only ever saw her one more time. She glared daggers at me as I waved happily to her as she carried a bag of her things out to her car. Whenever I think about it, I still get a little smile on my face, besides I only did what she told me to. And yeah, Ripe Stars, if you have ever gotten malicious compliance on your co-workers or maybe even your boss, then please let us know about it in the comments. I would be very happy to hear your stories. Either way, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe because that would help me tremendously. Thank you so much, and I will see you again tomorrow.